Hey everybody, it's Jason Blaha here. Once again, it is time for chest and tricep day. And as promised, I'm switching over to all closed grip benching again. I've discussed in detail why I'm going to do that just for my shoulder mobility. I feel like basically taking everything to closed grip and getting rid of all the side delt work is what will give me my shoulder mobility back. I feel like it's an inflammation issue in certain parts of my shoulder, so that I will be able to do overhead pressing again and lock it out, because I feel like it's something that I need and I'm going to fix it now. So I haven't closed gripped in a long time. I was almost scared I wasn't going to be able to close grip 315 today, but I came in, I did 315. It moved a little slow, right? So I kind of was assessing my weak links. I kind of know what I need to do for it. But the thing I've noticed, I do struggle on the eccentric. The last 6 or so inches, the eccentric control is not particularly good for me. So again, I know that that's some stuff I need to work on. So what I did, I got the 315. And like I said, it was clean, but stayed on the bench. I stayed flat heeled, pretty well flat back. I'm getting tight, but I'm not really running a significant arch. So again, just a nice solid range of motion. Want to pause all of it. Let's just get real strong, because that's how I hit the 365 before. It looked like that. This sort of setup, right? So afterwards, I did 3 sets of 3 with 275. These were pretty well limit sets, tried to pause everything. But even then, I think where I was at when I hit the 365 before, I was doing 5x5s after with 275 back then when I was doing that. I was obviously heavier and fluffier. So we're leaner now, and I'm going to continue to recomp here. So this is what I'm going to do. Now, for people who are like, well, where did you feel it? I didn't really feel my triceps. I felt a lot of upper chest. I felt a lot of interior delt. So I do need to double down on those. I'm going to use basically just this pressing to build chest. I'm going to do pullovers. I'm going to mess with pullovers, I think, on my shoulder day this coming week. I feel like that's a good spot for them. And I'm not going to worry about extra chest work outside of just the pressing at the moment. I feel like if I just get my triceps strong enough to improve the closed grip incline and the closed grip bench, my pecs will come along, and then I'll get the extra pump work from the pullovers. So what I want to do here, I used to be also really strong at the closed grip incline. So I'm like, let me build it up. So I wanted to see where it was. And I did some of these actually a few weeks ago, closed grip incline, just to assess it. So I started off just 225 for a triple, and then I went over, I'm like, I can go up 10 pounds. So then I did 2 more triples. So we ended up doing 3x3. So after the max on the closed grip, we did a 3x3. Then we did a 3x3 on the incline. I do feel like some floor pressing would be wise at some point, even some floor pressing with chains. Those chains are a pain in the butt. I'm going to find a lower spot to hook those onto so that I can hook them off there. So I found the sweet spot where I need to put that hanger to where it will never mess with my squats or my floor presses or my incline. There's a whole section of real estate there that I don't use a lot. So hoping I can get away with that. But I also want to avoid interfering with the safeties as well. So I need to make sure I find that sweet spot to where I can still put those safeties in for when I incline. But these felt good, so I tried to pause all of it. And I know at one time I checked some old footage, I was doing triples pretty easy with 255. So about 20 pounds heavier than this on a 45-degree incline closed grip. So, I'd like to get up there. Ideally, I'd like to be repping 275 on this. I think that would put me in a really good place. I'd love to eventually get to a 315 on that. I said I wanted a 315 incline. No reason we can't do it closed grip eventually. But I've got to hammer the triceps. So another thing to think about, when I look at the bar path, I had to switch those hooks over so I don't hit these roller hooks. I switched the hooks over, and then these work really well for these because I don't have as much space, and I worry about this easy bar slipping out because those others swing. These lock into place. So it really served two purposes to switch these around, so perfectly fine. But I notice I drift really far over my face. That tells me, and then I feel the shoulders. So what does that tell me? The triceps are a weak link. Yes, it feels like upper chest and all that is being worked. Feels like mostly upper chest and interior delt. So I'm still pretty chest dominant there, but I also have to factor in, if my triceps keep getting bigger and bigger and bigger, I'll be able to maintain that better bar path. I have a lot of bar drift towards the face, and I did notice that. So that's indicative that I need to build those triceps. Also, I notice when I feel that eccentric, I feel the triceps a lot, particularly like that lateral head, right on that eccentric where it's coming down. So again, I need to just double down to build the triceps. Obviously, we're going to work Front delts a lot. I'm going to front raise and overhead press coming up on its own shoulder day, and then we'll do all our pullovers then. But triceps. So I went hard on triceps. This is how I built close grip up before, and I still had a pretty sizable chest when it was strong. Just like the West Side guys, they all have big pecs just from all the heavy benching they do anyways. So something to think about. So I may not spend a lot of time worried about them because, again, worrying about all of that really is what seems to have been playing my shoulders. Interestingly enough, I felt no sort of shoulder inflammation. Like I felt that last week on the incline. Like it was really uncomfortable with the wide grip. So I'm realizing that's another reason I realized that's definitely a factor. Especially when I looked back at all the old footage and realized, what did my training look like when I was able to lock 225 full lockouts overhead? It was all close grip work. I didn't train side delts directly, and I did everything close grip. So again, I feel like I have a lot of inflammation in some of those areas around the rotator cuffs. And so it's making it hard for me to squeeze. So I physically have tissue then that won't allow me to lock out overhead due to inflammation. So again, let's just hammer triceps into the ground. Okay. Train them into the ground, hit all the angles, get strong. So again, I want some progressive overload on those laying extensions. I'm still kind of stuck there. I've built up to that weight. Getting more than about 10 has been really hard. But I've added carbs back in this week, so we'll see if we get a larger anabolic response and better recomping, with all the fasted cardio and then adding in heavy amounts of carbs. They're becoming a dominant macronutrient again. So did that, and then I did these extensions. And these were hard. After doing the other stuff, my triceps were fatigued, so I didn't hit the heaviest weights I hit on these, but I also focused on range of motion more. I tried to get a deeper stretch and some pauses at the bottom. So got around 12 reps. Some of these were 11, 12, 13, something like that. I failed on 13, I think, on the first one. I'm just marking it as 3 by 12 because it was roughly 12, 11 or 12 reps. We'll just call it there. Doesn't matter because I reached failure on all 3 of these. The others, I had maybe 0 in reserve on those extensions. These, I went ahead and took them to failure. So I went for a rep. I knew I wouldn't get the next rep, so when it came down, I just stopped, and I have to roll them forward. It just stuck. That's muscle failure. You just can't lift it. So, but at least we're looking thick. So I'm hoping, again, all the fasted cardio added back in. I think the midsection will tighten back up a little from the water and everything. It seems to do a lot for me on that. But yeah. So for those curious, when I carved back up, it put me back to 220. So I've been waking up 220 the last 2 mornings. Actually, the first day it was 223, shot way up. Second day I'm back down to 220. So I adapted. So we're, instead of 217, we're 220. Perfectly fine with that. Also means I could easily walk into a powerlifting meet without water cutting later if I kind of stay at this weight. So I want to recomp around here. Anywhere from 215 up to about 220 for a while. See if we can just gain muscle and lose fat and tighten up. And then we did tons and tons and tons of band press downs. I don't know what else to say on these other than this will help that lockout. This is what helped me. So you guys remember when I did the 365, I was doing at least 10 sets of these every week, burning them to failure, and it worked. So when I did that, it went up really fast. I had perfect control of the eccentric, it lowered, and when it went up, it exploded off my chest, slowed a little in the middle, and then the lockout popped. So these really helped me with that lockout and maintaining that path. So I'm going to push them really hard. I'm going to work the triceps from all angles. We're going to do overhead pressing. We're going to do close grip incline with the benching. I'll probably do some floor pressing, and then triceps for days, right? I'm not going to talk through all of these. I left all 8 sets in. You guys can watch all of them if you want. They were all 22 to 25 reps, something in that range. I marked it as 20 plus. So we got close to 200 reps. Again, hell of a tricep pump from it. So I hope it's been informative, and I'll talk to you guys and gals next time.